Well, one of the most eventful trips has just happened as we went over to the Faroe Islands for a couple of bronze WDF events. Now, it's quite hard to get to the Faroe Islands, there's three ways in. We decided Scotland as it was a direct flight, just an hour in the air, but it didn't work out to be the case. We was told on the way up that we was going to have to stay over and that the flight was cancelled, in the fact that we're now going to have to go to Copenhagen due to bad weather, despite the fact there was only 16 people on the plane. I think we might have got done over a little bit on that one. So we ended up staying overnight in sort of a service station hotel, which was great because it gave me an opportunity for the first time to play Who Hangs Up First between Zach and his girlfriend before we got up and went over to the airport. Now, on the way to the airport, we was texted by the airline who told us that actually the flight was going to be delayed. So we was very casually going down there for our 4 o'clock flight to find out there is actually a 1 o'clock flight as originally planned. So we ended up running through the terminal like Home Alone 2 and just made it in time. Luckily they let us check the bagging as well due to the confusion, and we got to the airport and got on the flight and headed over to Copenhagen, expecting that when we landed there'd be a nice quick turnaround and over to the Faroe Islands 6 o'clock in the evening. However, that wasn't the case either. We was then told that that flight was not going ahead, even though it did go ahead. We was then booked into the hotel where we got burger and we also had a game of table football, which I smashed Zach at, by the way. Now in the morning I said to Zach, let's go down at 7:30, so Zach set his alarm for 7:30. Well done, Zach. Brilliant. Great timing, that is. So we headed down to the breakfast bar. Of course we did. It was free. Who's not going to want to have a free breakfast? Zach isn't going to want to have a free breakfast. As you can see, I absolutely destroyed it. 2 plates and a bowl to myself. Zach didn't feel like eating because he'd only been awake for 3 minutes because he left it too late. But we finally got back into the airport again, making our way to the plane. It was quite a journey. At this point, we're already 2 days into travelling with multiple nights in different hotels and actually being further away than when we started. Bit of time though to sit in the airport and actually do a bit of video editing, doing the Rate My Oche series and some videos for Mission on their YouTube channel. Go check that out if you haven't done so already. But I've never been so happy to see a plane in my life. This was our flight over, landing at 1 o'clock in the afternoon, meaning we have been travelling for 2 solid days, Wednesday 1 o'clock till Friday 1 o'clock, but we made it, we was there in the Faroes. Now, one thing these delays did do is it cost us the bus tour. Now, this was one thing that the Faroe Islands was doing for the players, which I thought was an absolute fantastic thing, which was an afternoon going around doing some sightseeing that you could book in with the organisers and got everyone together, and I'd love to have done that. I thought it would have been a really good thing, but obviously that went at 12 o'clock and we didn't even get in the country till gone then due to the delay, so we did miss out on that one. But huge thank you at this point to Jan McIntosh, and a big well done to him as well, the first player from the Faroe Islands to win a WDF ranked event. He picked up the title on the Saturday. He also picked us up from the airport, so thank you, Jan. Underground tunnels, that was crazy, and again another reason I wish that I could have managed to make that tour. We didn't actually manage to see any of the country at all due to how busy it was, other than getting to and from the airport. We got to our apartment, Zach got his head down for a couple of hours. We did have quite a busy schedule planned, so it was just literally a bite to eat, a shower, a quick hour, and then back out again, because we had some bookings with some radio, the national radio, and also a more localised radio station where we was there going out to promote the event and to promote darts and just chat some stories of darting history and our sort of journey and the mapping out of how we even got to the Faroes, which was quite some journey in itself. Zach was playing in the pairs though on the Friday. I don't play the pairs due to the fact, as you know, I can't really play 2 days in a row, never mind 3. So I did give the pairs a miss, but I did have to go check out this sexy guy who was on the poster all the way through the event. Darts Day, Saturday, and as you can see, sorting out my case, just taking a few alterations as well there. So first of all, take the ring grips off the stems, don't like them on there. But you'll also see I've got slims and kites with me as well, so plenty of flights in different shapes. I used to always play with slims, then kites, then I had to move to standards as I was sort of getting more and more treatment. But just seeing if I could break it back down and go back to that smaller flight that I do prefer to play with. Lovely venue. Look at the backdrop there, just over the over the horizon, shall we say, of the video. Absolutely stunning venue and location, amazing facilities, very, very well catered for, big well done to the Faroe Islands, 32 match boards and 12 practice boards in total. Absolutely incredible facilities there that just allow everybody to make sure that they can keep playing if they wanted to. Now, this did become a bit of a problem because maybe them playing was a bit too much and too long. So the actual event was a round robin first, but everyone qualified out the round robin. So 118 players played on Saturday and 118 players qualified for the round robin through the round robin. On Sunday, same situation. 108 players qualified through. Abomination of a case, Zach. Should be embarrassed with yourself. Mango sorbet tub. Embarrassment, Zach. Sort it out. What a mess. What an absolute mess. But so that kind of made the round robin stage irrelevant. We then had a lunch break as well of about an hour and a half. The tournament then was sort of running in sections, so it was like the last 64, they played 32 games, so they played the top half, wait till all the games had finished, and then the bottom half played as well. To give you sort of an indication and an idea of this, we started playing at 11 o'clock in the morning, and I was finishing the quarterfinals on the first day around about 7:30 we was playing that game. Now, they did this because they needed to get ready for the streaming boards, but it wasn't ideal in the fact that the event was quite dragged out. So maybe in future, just start it a little bit later. Maybe start it after lunch, so you don't need that lunch break, and you don't need to have everyone in there at 11 o'clock. The other thing that the round robin did is it sort of ruined the possibility of the seeding. So I was meant to be the number 4 seed, but I actually ran into the number 2 seed, Scott Walters, in round 3. So not only was it like a bit irrelevant in regards to people having to play lots of extra games and fixtures, but it also then meant that all the seeding and all the work that people have done over a year or 2 years to get that ranking also then became a bit irrelevant when it got to the knockout stages. So congratulations to Scott Campbell, who did beat me on this late Saturday night. He did go on to lose in the semi-finals. Eventually the event won by Jan McIntosh, so well done to Jan for picking up the title. But it was a walk back to the apartment, which was about 25 minutes. We hadn't eaten since lunch, so I was doing my best Gordon Ramsay impression with the limited ingredients that we had available. So it was some frozen hamburgers, which was actually lovely. They was amazing hamburgers. I'm going to put that out there now. Maybe it was a cooked to perfection, and some barbecue and salted chips that I'd sort of designed for the oven. I tried to make it as interesting as I could, but there's only so much you can do with hamburger and chips, isn't there? So I gave it a go, and then we both went to bed early because it was another early morning. And this is what surprised me: registration closed at 10 o'clock, and you can see there 20 to 10. And no one, not a single person in the practice room. Now, part of that might be because they just thought, we'll just use the round robin to practice, as no one's going to get eliminated at this stage, which, if that was the case, I don't really blame them. Use a round robin as a bit of practice. Lunch break again as before, and I've got to give another shout out here and a thank you, and that goes to Scotty Walters, who bought this absolute banger of a lunch for me. Thank you to Scotty, absolutely amazing, loved that. One of the best lunches I've ever had at a darts venue. Now, going into the event, just another shout out here. This is Uni that I'm playing, who picked us up every morning and brought us to the venue. Thank you again to you. But this is where I found it really tricky, because I did alright. I got some results, but the form was very inconsistent. At times, like the averages that was coming through, I think was embarrassing. And certainly when you've been someone who's played on the Pro Tour for 11 years, played in 3 World Championships, 10 UK Opens, 3 Players' Championship finals, you know the story, top 64 player for a good few years. And then you're playing the sort of standard that I was over this week and just not being able to feel the dart and sort of get that right. It was really hard to sort of take and swallow, and especially with the Darts Connect system in place, and you know that people are watching and supporting and willing you on, and it just wasn't happening for me, and it was a real big disappointment. But in regards to the actual results, I was happy enough with the results, a quarter-final and a semi-final. That picks me up some more points towards Lakeside, which is ultimately the big goal. And I'd say the semi-final felt like one that got away with a couple of missed doubles, but it weren't like I was hitting them throughout the whole event. My doubles was probably the worst I think I've ever been on doubles and finishing. So a couple of envelopes for the trouble and a lot of time to reflect and sort of look back. Look back on the event and reflect on that. Now, the event organisers did come and have a chat with me, and I want to put in there massive shout out to those. Really did listen to those feedback points and sort of take them on board. It's only the third year they've been running this event, so they are very, very new to it and wanted a few little tips or hints or things that they could improve on, and they really did take on the feedback, which is a great sign of organisation to be able to do that. So hopefully next year the issues that I've aired would hopefully be eliminated, because they've certainly got the great facilities and an amazing country for putting this on. A great sort of holiday location for people. So gutted that we wasn't really able to see any of it, but we got back to the apartment sort of 10:30 and we just crashed out, and we're up again at 6 o'clock to head back to the airport and fly back over to Edinburgh for a 7-hour drive back to Daventry. So another big journey back. Actually, when I got back to Daventry, I was asleep by 9 o'clock in the evening. I just got back, ate, slept, absolutely shattered, and then got up sort of ready to go the next day. Have had a conversation with my manufacturer at Mission. So we're actually going to look at doing something with my darts. As you know, I've got issues with the tendonitis, with the nerve damage in the arm, that sometimes I just can't feel the darts, and 23 hours of darts like this was just too long. So we need to make something a bit more sustainable. And what we're looking at some tweaks to the actual equipment that might allow me to sort of push the dart a little bit more rather than having to put so much wrist into it and try and propel it as such. So hopefully something will be a bit more sustainable, hopefully something that will allow me to practice a little bit more, maybe playing a few more tournaments locally and going out to some of these events as well, because I don't just want to play at Lakeside, I'd like to be competitive there. And Lakeside is something that's looking more and more likely the closer and closer we get now. We're sort of coming into the 4th month of the year, and when we take a look at the rankings, I'm not too far away. I'm currently sat in 21st position in the order of merit, and the top 16 is ideally where I want to be, so I can go in as a seed, have that game less, which I think would really benefit me in that event, and I'm only 34 points away. Now that's 34 points away despite the fact we're so far away from the best level of performance at the moment. Certainly plenty more to give, and I'm going to just keep working and trying to see if I can figure out where that is. Hope you have enjoyed this video. If you have, pop a like on it. Subscribe if you want to see some more worldwide tours and some more worldwide events right here on Edgar TV. Edgar TV.